Yo, what is going on, everybody? I hope you are well. A couple of you have asked me to do a replay analysis of how me and Precept went undefeated from GC1 to GC2, and that is exactly what we're going to do today. I want to say a big thank you for all of the support with the cohort. You know, spaces are filling fast, so thank you so much. But also, the big one for me is the book. That was like a real big passion project for me, and I honestly did not expect to sell many copies, and we've sold over 200 copies, which is mind-blowing. Just so you know, if you do get the book, you get 20% off any coaching with myself, either one-on-one or any of the packages, including the live cohort on the 17th of January. You also get hidden areas in the Discord. So you get an area for other people who have read the book and are invested in the system to drill with, do the blueprints with, and scrim with and get teammates. We started that yesterday and it's already been really good. The feedback's been awesome. And also to let you know, if you do have the book, if you leave a review on Amazon and then send an image of that into the Discord, you do get entered into a marbles race, which is at the end of one of the episodes every month. And the winner of that gets a free coaching session. So it's almost like it costs you nothing to leave a review and you get entered into a chance for a free coaching session. Again, guys, I really appreciate all the support. And we're going to show you how we use the Pacifist system here to dominate in GC1. And dominate with the fundamentals. And to show you sort of the structure and how you can use the structure to benefit yourself. Obviously, we're at a higher rank here. And how we can create little changes based on the fundamentals from the book to do really well here. So what you'll find here on the kickoff, Precept is going to try and hit as close to the center as possible, slightly off to one side as fast as possible. The opponent didn't do a great kickoff here, in all honesty. You'll see as they come into this, they leave the center line heavily. Okay, and what that means is usually you're doing a back right or a back left. So in this case, they've gone for a back left, but their teammate hasn't moved into that position. Sometimes that's to disguise it and then go, which they have done. And sometimes they just may not be aware of that. Ourselves, the basic kickoff that we use in the system is that we follow up. Teammate tries to kill the ball as best as possible. I prefer even going a little bit above the center line to make sure it's definitely killed onto the floor. And then the second player wants to collect this boost pad, even if it's not there, go over it as the teammate hits it. And that way they can get to the mid boost first, because normally you're going to battle for this. Okay, this is key. As you get up the ranks, this boost means goal. Basically, whoever gets this fast, because the goals are so quick. I often say to people, you know, it's so easy to score goals in these ranks and higher ranks. The defending is where it's at. Hence why Energy are the best team in the world, because they're a defensive team. Hence why Daniel and Beast Mode from that same team dominated in game as 8 2v2, because they're a defensive team. And hence why I think they're going to cause the upset in the 2v2 RLCS if they compete, because they're a defensive team. And it really is important. Now, kickoff here, back left, you can do a couple of different things here, but the one thing to remember with a kickoff is a different situation to anything in this game as far as normal map time, because it's all about you don't have the ability to do any boost management, because you may not even get to collect the boost. So right here, I could have gone for the mid boost here, but I'm seeing the bigger picture. So maybe this is a bit more advanced, but I know Precept isn't going to get the boost first based on the opponent's kickoff. It's little things like this. So when you can't really explain this while we're playing, but if you look at Bappy, see how Precept's also flipped to the left, but he's ended up stationary because of the impact of the ball, the way it was forced, and Bappy is further to the left. That means Bappy should get the mid boost before Precept, which means he's going to have to back off. So knowing that, I could get the mid boost, but then it would be me with 100 versus two 100s, which is 200, while Precept is scrambling. So in this situation, I actually felt it's probably a smarter decision to take a 50 here, which is something I'd never recommend during the flow of the game. Okay, the reason is, okay, there's a bit more advanced game sense. Yeah, so we're against a 200 and we're both on 0. So we've got to prevent them getting started to try and buy time for Precept to get boost. Hopefully the 50 is volatile enough to let me get boost, and we've changed the game. You know, just little things like that that people may not see. And quite rightly so, Precept gets the boost, I get the boost, and we're back to 100. Now, we have, in the Pacifist system, a big ability to gain presence in the pitch that most systems and most styles do not have. So when you play standard Rocket League, which pretty much, not people here, but most people do, you don't really have a presence because your presence is nuisance. You're not dangerous, you're just a nuisance. You're diving on the ball, you're usually missing, you're trying to do stuff you can't do. It's just silly, right? Whereas here, we want to create gravity. We want players to understand, like, they need to be aware of us. So one of the ways we do that is front-end aggression. So the first man, in this case Precept, because the ball's on his side, he's going to rush in. Now, be honest to yourself. Let's pause it here. How many of you would dive on this ball? Okay? And you guys know the system, right? How many would dive on this ball? How many people who don't do this system would dive on this ball? All of them. And they would absolutely get scored on themselves because they're committing into a dangerous situation. So what we do is we use our front-end aggression to get to the ball fast, supersonic, and we don't do anything. Boom. Have you noticed what happened? We have not done anything, and we have just took a 200 boost to 0 boost for us into a 200 boost, 0 boost situation to them. This is the stuff that people aren't seeing that I'm trying to explain, and they're like, oh, Precepts is just carrying you. Guys, obviously not you guys, but some of the people who can't see the forest through the trees just can't see the stuff. All right? But what we are doing is we are strategically draining the mental of the opponents. And I actually looked, and not one of the games, in all the games we played, we went undefeated in, was it 12 or 13 games? Or 15, was it? Anyway, we went undefeated from Grand Champ 1 to Grand Champ 2, and we didn't play one full game because everyone forfeited. Okay, and as we went on, the games were 7-0, 7-2, 4-0, 4-0, 5-1. Domination from a defensive system because you get opportunity. But again, people aren't seeing that. So we have just starved them down because we didn't do anything. And that's our presence. Look at this. They've got no idea what's going on, either of them. Neither of them can see us. We can see them. We can see them. The positioning is powerful. So, great fake in. Idea to grab the boost, but it doesn't really matter. And Precepts now knows they are going to do what every Rocket League player does in GC2, which is try to force magic to happen. So here, look at this. They're forcing mechanics. And that's the turnover right there. So Precepts goes for a close outside shadow / inside shadow. You can do this a variety of ways. I don't think there's a wrong or right answer. I always recommend inside to outside, even for the aerials, because I find it easier. Players that do that, players such as Daniel, Zen, sort of mix it up, but it tends to be more inside. Players who do more outside on hovers tend to be players like Monkey Moon will switch it, Fairy Peak, Ruaz will switch it as well a couple of times. So it's dependent on your strategy. It's dependent on how you feel. Precepts as a ones player tends to be a more outside player, but he's still quite a close outside player. And there's benefits to both. So what that allows you to do is move with the ball and take the ball and the energy. One of the things can be dangerous if they fumble it like this. It can be difficult to stay on the ball after you hit it to the corner. One of the cons for being inline is that, let's say Precepts does land that, hit that and land with it, then I would end up coming in and probably end up bumping him. So you need to have good awareness a second to play around your teammate. So there is no right or wrong. It's just whatever feels right in the flow, and that'll come over time as you get more advanced. So Precepts hits it to the side. I know there's no way in hell he can get to this ball. Notice I'm central. Okay, so if we look at this line, straight into the middle, thinking about pad 2 here. Doesn't look like we're going to win, but I don't know yet because I know these guys are scared based on their movement. And we are now turning away. So as soon as Precepts hits that, I'm going to pick it up. Now, what you could do, and arguably what you should do, is come into this, touch this ball here, or air roll and shoot it. The air roll and shot would have been the best thing, but it's mechanical and I wanted to keep things very basic. But you could just air roll and shoot that, and that's a goal. You could also try and touch it, cut it to the inside. The only issue with that is that they could easily turn and knock you off the ball. So my idea in this situation, to keep it simple and attainable, is to accelerate the ball off the overcommit. You can see both of these guys have overcommit. We want to get this ball moving. We want to collapse the defense. We want them to panic because people don't know how to defend. And yeah, overcommits happen all the time in this game. So a lot of people think that pros don't overcommit, but of course Energy won with a defensive system of causing overcommits. And Another thing regarding overcommits is, Rocket League has been out about 10 years. It's still in its infancy. Professional basketball players that get paid like 40 million a year overcommit. Professional footballers that have got hundreds of years of knowledge and experience, they overcommit. All right? And you really think Rocket League pros don't overcommit, guys? Come on, let's just think for 2 seconds. So we're going to clear this. We're going to make them collapse in the easiest way, which is to just push the ball forward. All right? It's not incredible, but it's going to cause panic. I want to mentally beat my opponent because players will play 5 hours a day on autopilot in these kind of ranks and higher. They're not thinking. If you can start making them think you're doing something outside their system, it's going to fatigue their mind and everything will start to break down. Silly little things like that add up. You can see here, they're panicking, they're looking at the ball, they're going to turn, and they're going to be desperately scared of me. Gravity, guys. My presence is the danger. By doing nothing, again, we cause issues. Now, here I am. Now, could I just take a 50 here? Yes, I could. I could absolutely just force it into this player because I've made a massive mistake here as second man. They've come into the corner. It's a terrible mistake. Anything would work here. If I just hit this ball now, it's a goal for us. Because I'd hit the ball, I'd roll through in depth. Like, this is just a terrible, terrible position. It is not fundamental in the slightest. As a second man, you should be protecting the net, not moving into your own corner away to, a position that doesn't protect the net. That doesn't make any sense. But here's the thing. Although I could do that, I don't want to get used to doing that. I don't want to get used to playing people who don't do fundamental decisions because it's not going to make me a better player. It's the same thing as people saying adapt to your teammate. I don't want to adapt to bad teammates that don't have any fundamentals or game sense because why? Why do I want to change my game so much that it becomes into the realm of make-believe? Okay? You don't want to adapt to bad players. When I was a semi-professional basketball player, obviously I got injured, I was meant to go pro and I got injured. I went and played a couple of years later for a local team. And it was probably the most frustrating experience of my life because although we won and I adapted to the team, it was just so low level. It's hard to explain if you've never played sports. It's almost frustrating to play with people who don't know what they're doing because it's just boring. It's just boring and you just can't adapt to it. Like if you're not using the pick and roll properly, what the hell's the point of me setting the screen? And if and then you get the help defender and say, anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, so this is the thing. You don't want to adapt to bad players, in my opinion. So instead of that, we want to go into our set plays because this works against the fundamental players. So we go into this position. I'm looking for a pass to precepts. This doesn't look like my camera view. Hold on. There we go. So here I can see them. And I'm looking for a pass. I was going to say I wouldn't have been in ball cam there. Now, unfortunately, the pass doesn't go well. And Precepts is second man, who's nice and central. By the way, if that guy hits the ball, it just goes to Precepts. Because he's turning and trying to attack a defender. He's trying to attack an attacker, which doesn't work because the momentum can't be cancelled out enough. So it would have just pinged over the Precepts and that's a goal for us. But in this situation here, I'm looking for a passing play. Try to drop it off. Doesn't work. A little bit risky for me here. Precept has to block that. Notice he automatically turns his car to face our net before he challenges. He doesn't just dive in. These are real key fundamentals here, guys. So he could just dive in here. Most of you would just dive in here. You would lose that because you'd whiff the ball. Because you're moving forward against a ball that's moving forward and it's gone. You have to move with the momentum of the ball, which is why that turn and hit is so low percentage, even at GC2. So here, we come in here, boom, and turn and then attack it with a side flip, and then we can move away. Now, this is sneaky what I do here, and it's something people miss as well. We go for this pass. Now, I'm the most central player, and people will tell you that's wrong. People will say, second man needs to be close. That's why the game is rubbish, okay? Because you guys can't see anything, you can't react to anything. You need world-class reactions and mechanics, which you don't have. I'm aware that a lot of professionals or pro players, their advice is to force your mechanics and force the game over and over. Guys, ask yourself, since that's happened, has the quality of the game dropped? Yeah. It's not rocket science because everyone's trying to be the guy. And you're taking advice from people who play 12 hours a day and it's their job. That's like asking a billionaire what's the best way to do your food shopping. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. You gotta think for yourself a little bit here. Or just take it from people who are closer to you than they are, which, you know, not to sound arrogant, that's me. I am closer, you know, I'm much closer to the average player than we are pros, right? You know, I'm just a normal dude. So, and I'm not got mechanics either, so you can learn from this. So, I'm in the middle, which means I see what? I see everyone. What do they see? Just Pacifist. What does this guy see? Even less. Okay, he doesn't even know where I am. And this is a powerful position, because if you're closer to the ball, you get to the ball first. Makes sense, makes sense. But I have a thing that they don't. Vision and timing. I know exactly where they are. I know exactly their intentions. I watch them slow down, and as they slow down, I speed up. They're waiting for the ball. Boom. They're out the game. That's a game sense thing. So the fundamentals allow you to get this sort of thing once you get to the high ranks is you don't have to back off. You could back off here. You could back off in shadow, but I don't even need to because it's first man versus last man. So I want to take that 50. And actually, they've just slowed down and stalled. They're getting set. I'll just take that 50 over them or take that ball over them here. Boom, we're in position. Ball bounces. If that bounced flat, that's a goal for us. Pacifist would have been able to clean up. Unfortunately, it bounces like this. Bit awkward. But the net's open, so I'm going to try and get it to the net. Don't get the shot, but it doesn't matter. So we look at this. I mean, this guy's left his teammate. SSL's. Left his teammate to get challenged as first versus last to go for a boost that isn't there. And now look, they are basically, they're a sitting duck. I'm going to put it in there. They're going to score their own goal. I actually could have shot this. I could have also passed it. Pacifist moves into position. What you can do here, a little more advanced as a second man. It works really well in freeze as well. Is what could happen as a second man is speed flip down here, right to here as fast as possible. So you're here. So then what can happen is this first man, you can just send a pass to the back post, which is actually a lot easier. This used to be a very good strategy in like season 3 and 4 in 2s. It's actually making a comeback. I noticed when you watch a lot of pros, they're throwing themselves into the back post now, which is great. Again, you can throw yourself into the back post from the middle. You can't send yourself into the back post from following your teammate down the wing. So again, trying to hit the middle of the ball. Hit it a little bit low. Not great. You'll see Pacifist follows up. Realizes, probably a bit dangerous to go for this. But we've seen these guys in the air. We know we're going to be able to clean up on the boost. And that's what we do. So I'm going to grab the boost. Pacifist is following up. So one more time. Okay. But he knows I'm getting the boost. He sees an opening. Throughout play's going. He's going to throw it around him. And there is actually an open net straight away there. If Pacifist hits this, and let's just say he gets bumped, it doesn't matter because I can finish that as well. But we see him in. Bad for me to end up on the wall. Why did I end up on the wall here? Oh, for some reason. Oh, yeah, because I went to turn to the left and then quickly turn to the right. Yep, not very good from me there. But brilliant from Pacifist to see that. And if you look at their second man here, they don't have any time to get there. Kickoff goals are massive in 2s. So again, take the kickoff a little bit low here, which causes it to go high. And they're obviously trying to lose these kickoffs. And again, we just want basic stuff here. Basic stuff. So kickoff comes in. We've followed up. They're obviously doing this back left thing again. Okay, he's tried to do back left again. And I'm just going to come in here and just take a shot. Now, if you were really good on your shooting, you could put that to the left-hand side a bit more. I just mistimed it. But still, go for that. And the net's open. We want to cause them to defend. Going to put them under pressure. The reason we do shots like this, guys, so some people go, why didn't you score it? And I could have scored this. I should have scored this. But the thing I find a lot of people miss isn't so much the scoring and stuff like that. It's what comes next. So many players will get here and shoot and end up in the opponent's net or flick from here. What my concern is, how can I use the ball to put a threat on was engaging with a path lane. So you'll see if this shot is through path lane, path lane, path lane, path lane, path lane, slash bump. It's not an accident. The shot, if it goes in, it's a goal. But if it doesn't, it sets me up to be in charge of this play for defending from behind. It allows me to own the boost, take the ball. You know, all these things that people don't really see. They go, oh, you're not doing it. You're missing the little things. I can't explain it fast enough while we're playing live. But everything we do, we can. Bang, path, path, boost, 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 boom, bang, boost, Look for him. Take this ball. Take it away. Boost if we can. We didn't get it, but it doesn't matter. That's what we want to kind of do here. We want to take the ball to our corner. We want to boost off the opponent where we can. Shame that was in the demo. Maybe a millisecond off Supersonic. We want to take it away from them. Okay, so now what happens is we've only got one man to worry about, and they're on 0 boost. So here, they're in a difficult position. Let's have a look at this from Precept's perspective. So he's going down the middle. He's turned out there. Personally, I believe in this because you get a better view. Some players prefer the front post. Some players prefer the back post. You've seen a lot of players now. You look at pros now. Tempo, who was third in the world the other day. Back post all the time. Tomic, back post. Squishy, front post. Vatira, sometimes middle. But back post Flake's back post is a much better option because you get much better vision and they can't play behind you. But in this situation, as there's only one to beat, front post is quite viable because it makes it easier to shoot. So again, different strokes, different things, and you could adapt that. I keep it here for consistency, but there's absolutely no problem with this position here because you would then move into this position anyway to take that. So you've got to be dynamic as second. Great job from Precepts. As a first man here, if I could have got that boost, that would have been great, but I should have also gone up the backboard and stayed here. So I should have gone up here, just waited here, and that would block any high threat and also would stop me taking out Precepts. Bad for me on the fundamentals, but that's what you meant to do. You meant to go up there. So we play this ball away. Again, you can see we don't really have to worry too much. It's only one player to beat. And notice we don't just chase in. We don't just, panic. We're trying to block. We're trying to block their path. So Precepts comes in here, doesn't follow into the corner, thinks about their hit, and he's trying to block the direct path to net. I can see him do this as a second man, and I can also see where they are as a second man, as in Sun RLL. This is why I prefer this position. You get more vision sometimes in this situation. My game now is to time this to try and get a counter. Boom, there's the overcommit. There's the counter. We are off straight away. And again, the idea of every hit is to lead you onto a path lane. So this strike here, I'm going to try and time it in such a way where I can flip to the left and get onto path. Ideally, path, but it's obviously I'm watching that because I knew I could score it. But realistically, if you were a Monkey Moon type player, you would be able to do this with your eyes closed. You'd literally be able to watch it path, and then score it. So that's what you're trying to do there. Everything you do when you're bursting out, if you can score, great, but you want to think of how can I use the ball as a weapon to get resources to control the game and have a bigger presence. Because what ultimately is going to decide my presence is the speed I can move into a play to scare people. So you'll see as soon as we do this, Precept follows down the middle, pad, and he's grabbing the pads, and then boom. Again, waiting for the opportunity to score. One more time, we throw this up. And again, I know as soon as I throw this up, I've blinded this player. And also, can I just point out a really no-no thing here? What this player is, never do this. Never do this. You cannot see what you're doing. You don't know where anyone is, and you're just going to smack it against the wall. I see people recommending this. I saw a video the other day by this dude. I don't want to keep on about it, Rookie Dookie. But mind-blowing. Smash the ball against the wall so you can go up the wall and come off. Musty made a video on it as well. What do you think you guys are? The top 0.001%? Do you really think you can do that? Or are we just all, happy deluding ourselves? Well, what's the deal here? Do we want to win or do we want to delude ourselves? If we want to win, why would you smash the ball into a blind area? That's like a no-look pass, but you're not Larry Bird or Magic Johnson. This is like a no-look pass. I'm just going to smash the ball. I have no idea what's behind me. I'm just going to smash the ball. And now I'm going to try and force it with mechanics. To do what? It's a blind area, so you don't even know where your teammate is. So don't do that, all right? Just all they've got to do here, take that 50, whatever. Again, you should be thinking now, can I take this? Can I come here? And oh my God, look at this. Boom, pass to the middle. Teammates not doing standard. They're actually using the Pacifist system. There's a goal. Okay, so those are the things, the features that you want to be thinking about, not blind attacks. And the fact that the training packs for that exist, to me, is mind-blowing. Maybe it works for freeze, different game mode, different. But for this, all you're doing is giving me a setup, and I'm watching your second man the whole time. Wham, and we're off. Boost grab. Oh yeah, so this guy can't see. I have no idea what's going on because they're so close. Bam. And they're just panicking, can't see. Looking for a double touch, doesn't really matter. And just literally a tail whip flick there. And that tail whip flick, guys, you'll get so much mileage out of that. You can see there I've sort of adapted it here to get it to flick to the back there, you know. Once you get that tail whip flick down, you're laughing. All right, here's the next kickoff. So we're going to try and kill this kickoff. Precepts is going to follow up unless we called anything else, which we didn't. Boom. Notice as I get the hit, Precepts goes across the boost. Boom. And it's a race for this. He doesn't get it, but he does get the demo. That's going to be the goal. Okay, and that just shows you the power of the kickoff. It is really like that with this game. So one more time here. Imagine if ranked didn't feel random. If every player on your team knew where to be, what to do, and how to win without panic. That's what we're building. In the next Pacifist system cohort, starting January the 17th, you will join 19 others learning the exact system we use to go undefeated from Grand Champ 1 to Grand Champ 2. Not with speed, but with control, positioning, and restraint. Over the 6-week course, you'll get 36 hours of live group lessons, including drills, scrims, and a team of like-minded players. A private Discord to chat to Pacifist graduates from the past and future. Resources that you can keep forever that scale with your ranked improvement. And 6 hours of one-on-one coaching with myself. This isn't just coaching, it's a full system for climbing rank together. Owners of my Rocket League book get 20% off the cost of the course, which means it's actually cheaper to buy the book and the course than it is to buy the course itself. But this is the last time it'll be available at this price. However, even if you can't join this one, you can register now and lock in this price for the next cohort. There's only 20 spots available. To find out more, visit airchargedrl.com. Possibly the better option would be to side flip into this from the second man here, Preset, because if you you're jabbing against a flipper, like if they don't flip, you're good because you're going to jab it over them and potentially bump them. But if they do flip, it can be awkward, and it's good, actually good follow from the person who took the kickoff to go into that shot. And it's a nice form on that technique as well. In all fairness, same thing. Preset's going to kill it. We're going to grab the boost. We're going to go through. I tend to be a little bit later on this timing, just as you see here. I prefer a little bit more comfortable to be a little bit later. I'm going to try and control the middle, and again, here's the stuff. Again, not to have a go at these players, you can just take any replay from this rank and it'll be the same stuff. They're going to grab the thing. They're already going to think about going up into a blind area. Yep, they have no idea where I am. They have no idea our situation. They have no idea their team situation. But mechanics, guys, it's awesome, right? So, no, it's not. So we're here, boom, grab, and we're going to watch them. They're going to go for a pass, and we know that we got an opponent to our right, and we've got to be worried about the pass here. So we quickly check, ready to turn away, and what I would have done here is if they were up or closer, I would have just turned hard to the left. So right now, if I do this and I see this guy flying in, I will just cut right here and then do my shadow save. But because I saw them grounded and the way they're coming in, I already know that's going to the corner. So I just grab the corner boost. And then up onto the backboard, and then take the ball with you. Take the ball with you. Such a little thing that you can do. Up to the backboard. Wait. They'll always pass it to you because everyone's gone double touch crazy. And then all you do is just try and softly touch that with the front of your car. Okay? And what that does is it keeps it close to you, and you can stay with it. Now, bypass the boost here. You could take the boost, but in this situation, we again sense what's coming. I can hear him in my right ear. So I'm going to leave the boost because I don't want to get demoed. I'm going to go nice and high, try and push the ball forward. If you were good, you could shoot that on. I was actually trying to feed it to Precepts because, again, I know we're on a counter and we need to go here because we need to drain these people mentally. You'll see here, look at the patience from Precepts in the back post. Beautiful position here. Comes forward, and I'm trying to feed it to him. Just don't do a good enough job. If I did, Precepts is scoring that because guess what? He's the only one on the pitch with boost, hence why we run the counter. So that's why we do it. Good fake. There's the power. Doesn't get himself involved. Just goes in for a fake and allows me to return. So even though I'm on 0 boost here and I mess up, I can come on the inside line and boom, there's my block. And again here, now I'll grab the boost. Oh, these were the toxic guys, now I remember. Because, boom, I've stopped that there. This guy again. This was the guy who said we were lucky. Now I remember. So it's actually nice that I'm being a little bit funny with the lack of fundamentals here. So of all the things to do, could have played that to the mid boost and starved me out of the game. Because, you know, that would have given them space and time. But instead, of course, the thing to do in Rocket League 2025 is to smash the ball as hard as you can and look to redirect it to net. Now, that might work against other teams because other teams' second man wouldn't do what Pacifist does, which is protect the net. What? Protect the net? I know, it's stupid, right? Why would you protect the net when you could just venture into your own corner? But we do. We actually decided it's a good idea to probably protect your net. So we protect the net, and that allows, boom, an instant counter goal, and there it is. Just from this, waiting in the net, okay? Not outside the net, in the net, gives him more time to get the shot off, to aim it. So again, to go for that, and as soon as I see that, I'm like, okay, I can go for the mid boost because it's a throwaway, and I know that because they're going for that, even if they hit it on target, which they do, I think, or they hit it against the sidewall, it's eventually going to go to Pacifist because he's in the right position, and I know he's got 100 boost, so it's fine for us. Like, I don't have to worry about any boost situations or anything like that. So grab, shot comes on, instant goal. You can see this from the second man's perspective. Look. Why is the second man venturing to the wall? Because if he does that, who's in the middle to protect the net? This is the problem with the game. I don't know why people think you've got to play fast and force everything. It just doesn't make sense. So they're running a Spanish here. And it was a good Spanish as well. Tricked us both, I think. So we're moving in. Spanish comes on. I'm really slacked off here. So I think I sensed that they were going to do something like that. Because I decided not to push up. Boost off them. They're going to look for the shot. It's a decent shot. What I'm trying to do here is basically have it covered. So that if it goes into the net here, the idea is it would hit my car and I'd pinch it here and it would fly out across here. That's the plan. But the idea is just to try and block it as best as possible inside the net. Again, when you're blocking a shot, you want to do it, it's like you want to end up like inside the net here if it was on target, and that way you can recover quickly. So there we go. So great stuff from Pacifist to get back quickly. Come straight back into position. So as soon as that hits there, we're playing it to safety first. A lot of players, when they're learning this stuff, are almost too patient in dangerous times. Like here, some people will wait, go straight away because they're going to go straight away, and always protect the net first. And again, we've got an overcommit. We know that guy just overcommit, so we can just shoot this straight away because that's going to collapse the defenders. And the reason that's so important is if you look at the line of the game. So what will happen is on the way back, both these players will go wide and they'll open up the middle. Now, this is really powerful because as you go up the ranks, especially when people are more conditioned, which is why I mean Pacifist in the series we actually get better as we go along, is because as the people get more conditioned, what they do is they're used to going wide and coming across. But both of them do this, and this is how you can force double commits. It's a really good little thing to work on these counters. As you can see here, they're clapped in. This time they don't, but trust me, I've seen so many double commits where they just drop the ball down. So great stuff from Pacifist. And again, just it's actually a really good one because right here you've got two players using a ton of mechanics. As you can see here, they're mechanical. I mean, look at that. Loads of mechanics to get to 0 boost. Wow, it looks great, guys. Put it on TikTok. But for people who actually want to get better at the game, this looks like a joke, doesn't it? We're going to do a double into a flip reset. And what that's going to allow us to do is just take your resources. Now, personally here, I would recommend taking this away. Like, once this guy hits it, let him hit it. Because we've just seen him do a load of crazy things, and we know he's just trying to snipe. So actually, pull back here, let him shoot it, and then take it here and go from there. Because when you try and stop it, you're forcing your second man to come in. You'll see here, this sort of stuff off of first man ends up pulling in the second man. Because basically, the first man's took themselves out of the game. It's like a very risky play. First man's took themselves out of the game to beat their first man, so it's second versus second. This only works if you're following close. Can easily be averted by just not taking those sort of plays and just taking the ball away from the opponent. So here I thought about it, didn't want to take the risk, and then here I'm going to move away towards the net. And then here, like, I'm looking to see if this is on target. This is what made it so difficult. So you can see now they've got the counter. This is the risk you run when you do those kind of stop and pops, is that you instantly are going to collapse your second man. So when this comes in, it's a 2v1 for a split second, and I'm looking for the double touch here, and I'm positioned for, if that double touch comes on target, the idea was to come here, turn, and side flip. But once they hit it, they sort of botch it, and I'm like, it's not actually on target, and I end up a bit stuck. I'm trying to get to that position. It's really, really awkward. So this is why you play as a team. When Precepts comes back, he sees that. I leave the back boost for him. I didn't take that. Notice I prioritized the net first, and then he can see I'm in an awkward position, and he can take that ball away into space. Lateral dribble, goes for the power shot. Brilliant choice. Pick for the demo, and again, back into the play. Takes a 50. Again, that is going to force second in. They ended up with a boost. It was good from Sun. So that will now create a potential 2v1 against low boost. But Precepts times this really well here. Let's see what they could have done. Yeah, they were actually a bit slow there, surprisingly. And right, so they tried to do that. So Precepts, from his perspective, can take that 50. Is a bit risky because if the bump isn't there, you are going to throw yourself forward. But again, stopped it out there. And then this is where we call a switch, because I can see he's low boost, and I can see we're in a bit of a predicament here. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to have to take the 50 to try and waste time. I don't have time to turn, because if I turn away here, with the speed I'm going at, I'll end up turning, and I'll actually end up beating Precepts to this area. We've sort of muddied the waters here, which you want to avoid. So yeah, a little bit tricky in this one. So anyway, we'll call it. We'll take the 50. It's an outside 50. It's not a good 50. It's bad play. We're just trying to buy a little bit of time. This, I think, ends in a goal. So you can see how little things can become a catalyst for the goals. And someone did say that, you know, anytime that the rules are broken for it, like, for example, here, we're challenging the opponent. First as first, diving forward with 0 boost, that is going to create a chain reaction. So boom, now we're in a chain reaction, and it's a recovery phase here, and so we're trying to recover, but now it's going to be difficult. We create this chain reaction. Precepts does a great job blocking them both. You can see they're both in an awkward position. I'm a little bit blind coming into this. Not the best from me here. I should have tried to turn my car into the inside, and then I should have waited here. Should have waited here and then gone up, but then that could have been on. So really tricky. And then that was brilliant. So the last moment save here is to try and use the side of the car right here to block it, and they end up playing it around. I don't even know how much of that was intentional. Let's find out. I think that might have been intentional, to be fair, and it's a great goal. So really well played there. So here we go, back onto the kickoff. Try and kill the ball. Again, it lifts, so not good for me. This is really good. I remember this. The second man Precepts comes up. He sees this here. He thinks about it, but he thinks, well, hold on. Why would I take a 50 facing forward? So instead, he actually fakes out of it, which locks everyone down. And again, because I'm the most central player, I've got great vision of everyone. I'm not blocked by anything. So if you see here, if you look at Sun, their angle here, they sort of think, they're thinking so much about the net that they're creating gaps, where we're thinking more defensive. So great from Precepts. That was an amazing play. Does the fake, overcommits their follow right there. And now we've got this opening. Now I get up above the ball, and they're so close, and they're on the outside that I can't lose this 50. I could actually shoot this 50 at that mid boost, and it's going to ping into their net. So it's a win-win to take the 50, and there is an open net there. If you look at the follow here from this guy, it's just too long, and they're on the outside. So it's really difficult. So that's a goal. Again, kickoffs are massive here. Again, we're doing. I prefer a little bit of a slower cheat, especially when you've got the lead. You know, I see people. You can at higher ranks as well, but I see people doing this. You know, I would only recommend people with bad pings to do this. This is why it tends to be the Middle Eastern strategy, because of the higher ping. It doesn't make sense for someone in Europe to do this with the win, because you're going to bump your teammate. You're going to it more often ends in a goal than it does the other way around. You'll see it here. Same thing happens. They've come in, but they've got to play reactive now, and they've stuck their self. So as a second man, because I just sagged off a little bit here, and they're being even more aggressive, I can actually just counter and just go over the top of everyone. And you'll also notice by doing that, I should have the most boost as well, for the attack at least. So 6-2 here. And again, it's going to be the same thing. They back off this time. They're doing a back left. We grab boost as a team as fast as we can because, again, it's off the kickoff. And boom, we're in position. And now we know we're safe. And there it is. Second man too far up. And it's a goal. You notice Precepts is the first man here. He backs off, grabs the boost, cuts straight into front-end aggression. Sees this guy jumping into the corner, takes a 50 because this is a really good 50 to take because it's not going to send him. You know, Precepts is so close to the ground here. He can just do that little jump there and it's not going to be a hard recovery. And again, like, this is where mechanics come in. So this guy's here. And look how they're already forcing themselves so close to the play. Imagine if they just played the pacifist system and they're here instead. Like, they're safe. They're safe. They're safe. They can do all sorts. But because they're so close, and people will go out, well, what if the blue team's first man goes a minute to... Well, oh, so you're saying it's better to help them score a goal then? You know, it's what makes me laugh with people. They'll see that and they go, yeah, but if he hit it right, yeah, but he didn't. And he's GC2 and he's better than you. He's more mechanical. And he didn't do it. So, and he's playing, 50 hours a week. So what are we talking about here, guys? What are we talking about? So, too close. Which means he just can't do anything. Waste of mechanics. I think they've got a flip reset. It's just nuts to me, that is. All they've got to do in this situation, if they really wanted to, just turn away and start driving. Start driving. I mean, it's just so simple. I don't know what happened where the people see the floor as lava. You could just drive away there. Basically sets up Precepts and he's just going to tap it in. And I think that was all she wrote. Yeah, it was. So good game there from us. 7-2 against two SSL tournament winners and very mechanical players because they don't have any structure. All right. Again, not to hate on these players. These players play like everyone else. And maybe I do hate on that a little bit. Maybe I do hate on the way the game's going because what you got to remember, guys, is you're not playing the game 50 hours a week. The average person isn't. You're not mechanically gifted. You probably don't have the ability to go pro, if we're being honest. Okay? You know, a lot of people are like, I want to go pro. It's not going to happen. If you want to go pro, you'd already need to be 2.2k because you're competing against the people who are playing like all day, every day, and they're already 10,000 hours ahead of you. And every single week, that gap gets bigger because they can play longer. They get professional coaching, etc., etc. So don't necessarily look for the pros to give you advice. They can tell you how pro play is, but that is a different world. It's like if you went to learn boxing from Anderson Silva and he's showing you all these crazy things. You just need to go to the local and just learn how to do a jab first. It's the same principle, guys. So hopefully that helps. You know, nice and central play, looking to take the ball back, looking to start them down, and hopefully there you can sort of see how we did that. I know there was a lot of kickoff goals, but this was one of the longer sort of games that we had because it's just difficult. But if you enjoyed that, I'll do another replay analysis if I can. If I can find those. I don't think I got any when we were GC3. But I can try and look for some replay analysis of that. I know I've done a GC3 one on the channel before. And yeah, guys, really do appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Look after yourself and peace out. Peace.